Welcome to my channel, C.S. Lewis Spirit. In today's video, the hidden separation Jesus warned about, the truth no one sees coming. We step into a mystery that almost no one dares to talk about. Not the kind you find in ancient ruins or coded prophecies, but a mystery that's happening quietly, in our time, inside hearts, families, churches, even within faith itself. They say the greatest deception is the one we never notice. But what if Jesus already warned us about a moment like this? A separation that wouldn't happen with earthquakes or fire from the sky, but with choices, silence, and the slow turning of hearts. A divide so subtle that even the faithful might not see it until it's too late. Imagine a world where good and evil don't stand on opposite sides, but walk in the same crowd, speak the same words, even pray the same prayers. Where truth isn't denied, it's simply replaced. Every day we scroll, we rush, we survive. But somewhere beneath all that noise, something sacred is shifting. The people who once stood together now stand apart. Not because of war or politics, but because of a quiet test of spirit. And this test, Jesus said, would come like a thief in the night. Two will be in the field. One will be taken, the other left. But what if that separation isn't just physical? What if it's happening already, in the unseen places of our souls? There's a man in this story, Daniel, not a prophet, not a preacher. Just someone trying to live right in a world that's lost its sense of what right even means. He begins to notice things. A strange distance between people who once loved truth. Friends who start twisting words of faith into something easier, softer, safer. He doesn't argue, but inside, he feels it. That hidden line slowly drawing through every part of life. He dreams one night of a great light dividing the earth, not burning it, but revealing it. On one side, faces full of peace and conviction. On the other, confusion, people shouting, trying to cross the line, but unable to move. When he wakes up, the dream feels too real, like something more than a dream, like a message. But from who? As he starts searching, the signs grow stronger. Ancient verses he'd never understood begin to echo in his mind. The words of Jesus, once familiar, now sound like warnings he somehow missed. Everywhere around him, he sees symbols. Not supernatural ones, but in ordinary life. Small choices, little compromises, quiet rejections of truth. And Daniel begins to realize, this hidden separation isn't coming someday. It's already begun. But what does it mean to be on the right side of it? Is it faith, action, or something deeper, a test of the heart? As he digs further, what he uncovers will challenge everything he thought he knew about faith, salvation, and what it truly means to follow the light when the world itself is dimming. Something is coming not to destroy, but to reveal. And when it does, every hidden truth will stand exposed. The only question left is, when the separation is complete, which side will we be on? To be continued. Days passed, and Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that something was shifting around him. The air felt heavier, like the world had quietly stepped into a new season. One that no one noticed except those who still listened deep within. He watched people move through their days, smiling, talking, worshiping. Yet something behind their eyes looked distant. It wasn't evil. It was emptiness, like light slowly fading without anyone realizing. At work, conversations had changed. The name of God was still spoken, but without power, without conviction. It was as if truth had been replaced by comfort. Even in his church, Daniel felt it. A slow drift from faith to performance, from prayer to routine. A sermon that once stirred hearts now sounded safe, polished, and empty. No one questioned it. They called it progress. But Daniel felt it was the quiet warning Jesus had spoken of, when people would have the form of godliness but deny its power. At home, things grew tense. His sister, Emily, once strong in faith, now laughed off his worries. "You overthink everything," she said. "The world's changing. Maybe we just need to adapt." But Daniel saw it differently. Adaptation wasn't the problem, surrender was. One night, as he scrolled through endless videos of debates about truth, prophecy, and light versus darkness, he noticed a pattern. Everyone was speaking, but no one was listening. Every voice claimed to carry light, yet confusion only grew stronger. It felt like a spiritual fog covering the world, the hidden separation Jesus warned about. That night, Daniel wrote in his journal, "The real war isn't around us. It's inside us. And the hardest part is, most of us don't even know it's begun." Outside, thunder rolled, softly, like a whisper before the storm. The next few days felt unreal. Everywhere Daniel went, he sensed a strange division growing stronger, like an invisible wall rising between people who once stood side by side. In his neighborhood, arguments broke out over small things, beliefs, opinions, even words that used to mean the same for everyone. Friends turned cold, families drifted apart, and no one seemed to understand why. It wasn't chaos. It was confusion, deep and quiet, spreading like a shadow no one could name. Daniel couldn't sleep. The dream of the dividing light returned, brighter this time, louder, like it was calling him. He woke drenched in sweat, the echo of a single question ringing in his mind. "What side are you standing on?" His heart pounded as he looked out the window. The night was still, but the silence felt alive. Something was approaching, not seen but felt. He opened his Bible, searching for answers, and the words seemed to pulse off the page. "Let both grow together until the harvest." It was as if every verse pointed to the same truth. The separation wasn't far away. It was already reaching its peak. The choices people made now, the ones that seemed small or harmless, were shaping that unseen line. Suddenly, the power flickered. The house fell into darkness. Outside, the wind rose, carrying distant voices, or maybe echoes. Hard to tell. Daniel stood still, listening. His phone buzzed. A message from Emily. Just 2 words. "You were right." His breath caught. The light from his window glowed faintly red, not from fire, but something far stranger. The world outside looked different, quiet, still, divided. And in that moment, Daniel realized the separation wasn't coming anymore. It had begun. Daniel froze by the window, his pulse racing. The red light outside shimmered like the sky itself was bleeding. He stepped closer, pressing his hand against the cold glass. The street was empty, yet he could feel something moving. Not a sound, not a shape, just an energy, heavy and alive. Every shadow seemed to watch him. He whispered a prayer under his breath, but the words felt like they dissolved before leaving his lips. For the first time, his faith felt tested not by doubt, but by silence. His phone buzzed again. Another message from Emily. "Come to the church. Now." Those words sent a chill through him. He grabbed his jacket and ran into the night. The streets were darker than usual, every light dimmer, as if the city itself was holding its breath. When he reached the church, the doors were open, candles flickering faintly inside. The familiar sanctuary looked different. The paintings, the altar, even the air felt heavier, charged with something unseen. Emily was standing near the front, eyes wide and trembling. "They're saying it's happening everywhere," she whispered. "People disappearing, others changing. It's like something's separating us." Before Daniel could answer, a deep vibration shook the floor. The candles flickered violently. A low hum echoed through the walls, like 1,000 distant voices whispering the same word he couldn't quite understand. Daniel stepped closer to his sister. "This isn't just a dream anymore," he said softly. "It's the moment Jesus warned about, the hidden separation." Suddenly, the cross above the altar flickered with a flash of light. Not blinding, but pure, like truth made visible. For a brief second, Daniel saw faces in the glow, some filled with peace, others with fear, standing on opposite sides, separated by the light itself. Then it was gone. Silence returned, but nothing felt the same. Emily clutched his arm. "Do you feel that?" she asked, her voice trembling. "It's like something is choosing." Daniel looked around. The walls pulsed faintly with light and shadow, like two realities struggling to exist at once. He realized this wasn't the end. It was the moment before the world had to decide which truth to follow. The final line was being drawn, and they were standing right on it.